nobody wants to do business for someone who's crabby, right? And so if I'm always fun and I'm having a great time, then my clients will as well. And if you can bring that energy along with you, you're winning.
Today we have Lauren Ryder, CEO and founder of Leading Edge Global, a consulting company specializing in people-centric digital transformation, which sounds impressive. Welcome, Lauren.
Thanks so much for having me, Ryan.
Pleasure. Now tell us, what is people-centric digital transformation?
Well, I think we've all heard of transformation, and I think we're all probably transformationed out at this point.
Yeah.
But but what I've done is we've been doing this for many, many years. Basically, the way that I describe transformation is where we're putting in a change to a business, where we have changes to the structure of the organization, to the processes, to the technology, full change. A lot of people, go in head first and run that project, whereas my background is actually change management and where we put people first. And so that's how we've gotten to people-led digital transformation. And funnily enough, it was only just the other day, I saw an article on the Harvard Business Review, and it said, we have two lessons we've learned about transformation. One, they're hard, 78% of them fail. And two, you have to be led by people. I thought, I've been banging on about this for years. So yeah, I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, great. So tell me, what does that look like, in terms of putting people first? Like, how does that play out?
Yeah, sure. So when we are planning projects, so I suppose we have sort of two streams. So we'll come in, work with our client, understand what's changing, how are we doing it, and we put together a project schedule as any project would. But at the same time, we make sure to wrap change management around it. So we ask the questions all the time. So what does this mean for your employees? What does this mean for your customers? And we wrap those programs all the way from the front. And the other really, really key element is about engaging the leader. So having your CEO or at least your C-suite driving the message all the way through. So that's sponsorship piece, talking of them having a vision for what we're trying to do, and then talking about it every message they give. That's really important to getting it through, because people will only listen to two people. Like, employees won't listen to two people. They'll listen to their manager and the CEO, and that's it. So if we get those messages clear up front, the whole process becomes a whole lot easier.
Yeah, great. And so why change management? Why would somebody bring in a change management consultant instead of just heading up the project themselves?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think the thing is, with change people, we always put that people first. And so, as we said, 78% of transformations fail. That is a
It's a lot.
massive number of failures of projects. And I think we have to look at what failure means in a project from that regard, right? But basically, it means you haven't hit your objectives. Now, what we do know, and there are absolute facts and statistics that says you get your return on investment from a project with certain aspects of change management. So if we say, we can actually put figures on it. We say, okay, if you put in a new piece of software, and what percentage of your people need to adopt it? How much is relevant that your people have adopted it? And they go, oh, well, it's like, 100%. The success is 100%. They have to use it. I said, okay, well, we need change management there, don't we? Right. So we put those numbers on it. If you don't actually bring people on the journey, they're not going to adopt it. They're going to fight back. There'll be crazy resistance, and all of that hard-earned money spent. And I'm talking about many, many millions of dollars in these projects thrown down the drain.
Yeah, which is kind of scary, really.
Yeah,
And
it really
and so,
is.
how did you get started in change management? Like, how did you get into it in the first instance?
Yeah, sure. So my background was actually project management. I did that, for a number of years, but I found it got a little bit boring. I found what we're talking about, schedules and resources and budgets, and I was having more fun talking to the stakeholders and understanding what drove them and all of that. And at the time, I was actually working at Combank, which was the best thing that could have ever happened to my career, because they have so many jobs available. And so I was able to go to my manager and say, hey, look, this whole project thing is a bit boring. Can I move into change? And they redeployed me onto a massive change program. It was actually it's the biggest telecommunications transformation that's probably happened in the Southern Hemisphere. It was huge, and I got dropped in as a change manager. Learned a lot on the job, Did manage actually within 2 weeks of the job. No, I did actually have to Google a lot in those first few weeks. But luckily, within a couple of weeks, I got a call from the some lady who says, I'm the head of the change practice here at the bank, and we'd like to train you. And I said, all right, bring it on. So I was actually one of the first ProSci certified change managers here in Australia as part of that program, which is very
Wow.
cool. Yeah. And so since then, after I led that program, it was about 18 months. From then, I thought, I can do anything. And I went out and I started consulting. I did change consulting directly to customers, and then worked through other consulting companies, and then realized, you know what, I can actually do this on my own. So off I went and started a business.
And you had a team that like through that process, and you actually grew the business fairly big, and yeah,
I
that's
did. It was a really fun journey. I think one of the things I've always been probably quite good at is setting myself goals and then actually kicking them. Right from day one, it's just
yeah.
part of me, and I'm quite innately driven as a human. So I knew that for the first 12 months of starting the business, I just needed to get revenue in the door so I could pay for what have you. So I worked as myself as a change consultant for those first 12 months. And then at 12 months, would you believe it, to the day, I got my first solution sale. It was pretty unbelievable. So it was a change management strategy that we delivered, and I brought in my first employee, and that was pretty amazing. And so I kind of knew that in order to grow, I needed to do a few things. So first of all, I needed to get my brand, and I needed to get some credibility in market. So what I was able to do is I managed to get myself a contract, which was 3 days a week, where I could work 3 days, so continue to get some revenue, but then spend the other 2 days on business development.
Nice.
And I think if you actually read all these books, that's what everyone recommends you do. I just did it out of necessity. I thought this like makes sense. But also that the cool thing is, in change management, you can find part-time contracts, whereas a lot of other roles won't let you get that. So that worked out well. So yeah, worked 3 days a week, started to build it. And I knew that in order to get that kind of the reputation, I first needed to basically put consultants in, basically body shopping, like that's technically what it is. But I would say that you have to make a point of difference, because you're charging more than, say, a recruitment agency. And so my biggest thing was that all of my people, any person who I brought on, whether it was a project manager or a business analyst or test manager, whatever, any type of project role, they have to be people first. And you can pick that when you're having an interview with someone. You can pick by the questions they ask or how they talk about their last project. So for me, the people side was number one, and that's what helped. That culture was really, really strong all the way through. So yeah, so we grew from that, and then I started to kind of pitch myself for bigger projects, and yeah, here we are today, running big
Fantastic.
transformation programs.
Yeah, that is great. Okay. And so what changed in you specifically that kind of took you from, where you were originally to where you are now, like having that level of success?
I think that there was a couple of things. I think the first one was when I realized that I am the business. I am the face of the business. I am the brand of the business. When I started, you can see my logo is pink. It is very feminine, and I work in a very male-dominated industry. And I knew I needed to stick out, but I also realized that I'm not for everyone. And my business won't be for every organization. So I had to understand that I don't need to be targeting widely. I need to target the types of customers who would be appropriate to us. And I was able to clearly delineate who those people were. It was quite clear to me. So being able to kind of take a deep breath and go, okay, I can have my picture all over my website. I can be all over LinkedIn. It's about me now. It was it was a confronting step, I think, for a lot of people who aren't really ready to go and shamelessly self-promote. It was a bit difficult, but I think I could do it in a classy way where it didn't feel uncomfortable, right? I had a good sort of marketing support behind me. So that was probably one of the biggest mindset shifts that changed. And I think the biggest was the lesson that fake it till you make it. That was I kind of had as I said, I had a growth plan. I knew I needed to do heads, then I needed to do fixed price, and then I needed to run entire projects. That was my growth model, and that was how I was going to, and I achieved that. But how do you do that if you've never done it before? Well, you just talk about it as you have. And you talk about it. That's what we do. That's how we do it. And look, to be fair, I have done it before in other places, but just not promoting it myself. And yeah, I think people kind of listen and go, all right, well, if that's the case, let's do it. And yeah, the magic happens.
And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have been there as well. Like it's, you kind of have to talk it up a bit and put your best foot forward, really.
That's right, exactly. A bit of confidence doesn't go astray there.
Absolutely. But I'm interested, you touched on something there, being a woman in a fairly male-dominated work environment and, in corporate, what's been your experience there?
Well, it's funny. I studied, actually, I knew I wanted to go to business school. And originally I'd wanted to do marketing because I had taken I think a personality test, and it told me I should do marketing. Got to university in business school and realized it was terribly boring. And so I called my dad, who happened to be a professor of software engineering. And he said, well, how are you doing in your IT classes? I said, straight A's. And he said, I've been on your organization, your college's website. He says, you can get your bachelor's and your master's all in IT, and you can be done in 4 years, 5 years. I've gone, okay, let's do this. So I jumped on, and I suddenly got myself a degree in IT. And he says to me, now, this is going to be really easy for you. I said, why is that? He says, because you're a woman. They want to hire heaps of women. And I said, I didn't even start there. That wasn't even my thought process. I just actually really enjoyed it. And look, to be fair, I think he was right, because there aren't a lot of women in IT. Now, I don't think I've ever been hired because of my gender, but I am very often the only woman in the room. It has been, I suppose, sometimes a struggle. It's when people talk about, the problems, they are real. But when I first started, and I came, and I was in my 20s, I joined Females in Information Technology FIT, and I joined the board because I was so passionate about getting more women, more girls through into the IT industry. It's always been a passion of mine. And then as I became more and more senior, and started sitting in the boardroom with a bunch of men, I'm kind of going, wow, it's not a level playing field. And so the struggle is real. I think, IT versus business at this stage, when you get into a senior leadership position, it's actually the same. It's there's not a lot of women in operational roles. I've been reading a lot of articles about it just in the last few weeks, that the women are just not there, and they're not in the operational roles, and so therefore they're not being groomed for the CEO roles, right? And that's what we need. We need to be able to groom the women to be in these leadership positions, but they're just not there. And so we have to figure out different ways to bring women up through the ranks in a comfortable way. I mean, I've seen all the games now. I've seen all the politics. And the thing is, I can't play them. It's not me. I've been so comfortable running my own ship for so long with such an awesome corporate culture. And then coming into big organizations where these games are being played, I go, no wonder women don't want to be here.
That's definitely an interesting take. That's really good. And do you think that organizations are missing out on, on having that female perspective?
Absolutely. Look, the research is abundantly clear. Just the value that businesses get from having women on the board, having women in senior leadership positions. But it's not just women. I have to say, it's diversity in general. So, and diversity can look anyway, but definitely women need to be part of that story.
Yeah, lovely. Well, I agree. That's really good. Because diversity shows, like it creates not just a one single path to an outcome, but it creates options. It creates differences, conflict sometimes, but in and through that, it typically can produce some substantially better results than just a one size fits all approach. So.
Absolutely.
But that's great. So where's life at now for you? Having are you doing the corporate high flyer thing, or what does life look like?
Life is good. Life is good. Look, when I started the business, um, someone gave me some brilliant advice, and I haven't forgotten it to this day. He says, look, you can have your business as a growth business, or you can build a lifestyle business, but you have to make that choice. And it was at that point when I realized that if I were to choose the growth business path, I would probably never see my children again. But probably more importantly, if you do that, you end up getting investors on board, people who you're reporting to, people who you're accountable to, sales targets that sit on your back. I literally just didn't need that stress in my life. I'd already had some kind of overdone it earlier, and I actually wanted to do this so I could manage my own time better. So I chose lifestyle business, and it has been absolutely fantastic. So for me, what a lifestyle business looks like is I work the hours I need to work. I set the targets that are appropriate for me, and therefore I can get the revenue that works for me. I'm able to earn. I'm able to have some for invest. I've got my future set up. I'm not going to sell my business for $100 million, right? But that's not the plan, and that's okay, right? So I think you just have to know in advance where it is that you're taking it. So I have all of, when you're saying where's life at, I've got everything I need, everything I want, really comfortable, and I sell the stuff I want to sell. And I do the projects I want to do, and the ones that are with customers who have aligned values with me. And to be in that position is pretty awesome.
Yeah, phenomenal. And that's, yeah, because you're right. And I think finding that, or at least knowing that earlier in the piece, so some people kind of find, and me, like myself included, I've definitely ended up, especially in my early years of business, going down that growth path to the detriment of my family, and realizing that that's actually not ultimately what I wanted, but it is okay to be able to earn some good money and also have a life and see your family and that sort of thing as well. And it's
Exactly.
really great that there are a number of entrepreneurs out there who are doing that, which is exciting. So, all right, what advice would you give to other business owners and CEOs who are struggling to kind of break through to their next level? Not necessarily, for that growth business side of things, but if they've got that lifestyle business and they are happy, but they still are ambitious, as most entrepreneurs are. What advice would you give them to go, hey, look, here's a secret or a tip, that you found
Sure.
has worked for you?
Sure. I have probably a few of them. So I think the
Please.
first one is that, that Simon Sinek, that's start with why.
Yes.
It is so valid. So I would say, like, return to your why. Think about why you're actually doing this. If you're at a stumbling block, if you're having sort of a moment where you're going, what am I doing here? How do I do things differently? Go back to your original purpose. Why did you start this business in the first place? Was it so you got a bit of freedom? Was it just, for money? Was it so that you could take a mission to the world and change something, because you didn't like the way it was being done before? Whatever that why is for you, they're all valid. It's your why, but you need to revisit that. So I think that's absolutely, every time I've kind of come to a bit of a, where do I go from here? Coming back to that, it's like you're a North Star. You know where you're pointed.
Yeah,
Right.
great. That's
So
really good.
yeah, so that, I think that's the first one. Another one is to go back and review your numbers. So one of the things that I did over sort of, got a bit quiet for consultants over that COVID break for a while. And I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to come back strong, how do I promote my business in a way that will be actually valuable? And because I think I probably did have a bit of burnout before that. The break probably came at a good time for me. So I had time to think. And one of the things I did was I actually went back to my numbers. And I looked at all the different services that I had sold over the last few years. And I looked at it in two ways. One, how lucrative was it? How were my margins? Was this a good project for us? Was this good for the business? Because that's obviously something when I did see some services where we hardly made anything, and I thought, maybe we don't need to sell that anymore, right? Because to waste a lot of energy on something you're not making a lot of money, it's not worth it for it. We're here to make money. We're a business, right?
Absolutely.
That's right. But the other one was, what did I enjoy? What did I love doing? What made me excited to go and do my job? Right. So it's coming back and kind of reviewing your numbers and then going, did I enjoy that? And going, okay, maybe we just need to, laser focus back on what we're doing, right? And well, that was what worked for me, right? And the final thing, you need to do some sort of sales activity every day. So whether that is going on LinkedIn and finding new contacts, or picking up the phone and calling your old ones, or what have you, even if it's marketing activity that you're out there posting on LinkedIn, you have to be visible and drive those leads every single day, or your pipeline will just dry up and we got nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really good. I like that. And so has that been your biggest growth lever, do you feel? That, it's been that consistency over the course of business?
Yeah, it has. It was I think it's been a really great journey for me. The consistency has actually been really good. I've been able to handle everything that's come my way. So yeah, of course, got a few stressful days. But for the most part, that consistency has helped. I've managed to get a lot of my work through referrals. And I think in this industry, it has to be. Nobody likes a cold call these days, as much as I love making them. Nobody likes receiving them.
That's great.
So and so how do we find people creatively? And so having things like LinkedIn is great, but you have to use it. Like I think I read somewhere, I think only 2% of people on LinkedIn actually post. So if you post anything, you're already in the top 2%, right? And suddenly your connections are seeing you and their connections are seeing you. And it's just adding that extra level of credibility. And I'm not saying that will close any deals, but it provides that level of credibility that people might want to talk to you if they think you're an expert in that topic.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, it is important, to be seen, because unless you're making offers and unless you have a level of credibility and interest and personality out there, it's definitely hard for people to A, relate, and B, then connect with you on any level, whether it's doing business or not. But yeah, that's good.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Question, Lauren, what's been the most challenging event or part of growing for you? So throughout your business career, this can be recent or it can be, in the early stages. What's been the most challenging, and then how did you overcome that?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think my biggest challenge has been keeping my eye on the prize, right? So making sure I'm not losing focus. So I think at one point, and it's come in many different shapes and sizes, right? So part of it was like, there's points where I couldn't focus. So I've gone, you know what, I'm just going to turn off all my social media on my phone. I'm going to, I shut down and give myself specific goals and then hit them. And I have to refocus and I have to physically pull myself back to do that. The other one it's a bit bigger. It's actually ensuring I'm continually selling the right thing. I think I probably can get, as we all can, a little bit of shiny object syndrome. And so, we might get a project.
Yes.
Right? Well, look, if we do the same thing over and over again, sometimes we just want something different. We want something to change. And so sometimes we go, oh, we did a project like that. Maybe we should do more of those, right? Whereas realistically, looking back, that was fine that was a one-off. We can continue to one-off some of those if we get asked, but really we need to stay focused on our core thing. And so I think the challenge of kind of maybe losing, as I said, that North Star, if you kind of go off track a little bit, go a bit wayward, I think the key is continually bringing that back. A tip there is to get yourself a big whiteboard next to your desk and write your goals out. And keep them huge. And so everybody who walks in has to look at it and they know what you're shooting for, and everyone is accountable to it. I think it's really important. It's just that keeping that focus, because it is really easy. Particularly, the journey of that entrepreneur. I think everyone's seen it on LinkedIn, that little, that graph. This is, having a great day. Oh no, it's terrible. Oh, it's fantastic. Oh no, I'm going to quit. Right. All in the span of 2 hours.
Yes.
So
it's true. It is true. Yeah.
Right. And it can happen like that. You can have a bad moment and then just kind of go, oh, but you have to stay the course. Right. And then you get the big wins and you kind of go, yeah, okay, that was worth it.
Yeah, I love that. And so then where have you actually had the most fun? Because there's been some challenges and that, but where have you had the most fun?
in business or
Yeah.
personal?
Yeah, business.
So look, first of all, the cool thing about change management is that you can actually make it really fun. And the projects that do really well are the ones where you add fun to it. And so I'm kind of in a lucky position where I can go into my clients and say, hey, listen, we need to be running a competition here, or we need to run a really fun training program, or we need to play with Lego today because we really need some outcomes.
I love
it. And I'm in a perfect position to say stuff like this to people.
That is phenomenal.
And so we literally have so much fun. And I think that's one of the reasons I think I love my team. They come back to me, and so a lot of them contract and they come to me and then they leave and they come back. They go, Lauren, have you got any more work? We love working for you, because I keep everything fun. It's upbeat. We're always laughing. We're on this planet for such a short time. Why should we be in a bad mood?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, we are.
And the other thing is that I found, nobody wants to do business for someone who's crabby, right? And so if I'm always fun and I'm having a great time, then my clients will as well. And if you can bring that energy along with you, you're winning.
And you are definitely a high energy person. It is really good. Yeah, thank you. So if you could go back, let's say 5 years and give yourself one piece of advice, what would that be?
One piece of advice. Goodness gracious. Now there's quite a few of them, I think. I think it's basically keep focused. Just keep focused on the goal. It's so easy to lose that, and to actually just stay the course is really, really hard. I found a few ways to actually do that over the years. So with that 5 years that I've had since I've given myself that advice, there's actually a really good tip that I found, and that's actually meditation. Oh. And people like myself who I suppose are high energy and need to keep busy all the time can find meditation quite boring. So I actually found one for individuals who are quite focused on business and want growth and want to get it's guided, and it's by a guy called Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's quite globally known. I've heard of him. Yeah. And that has been life-changing. The way I see meditation is like, you're in a library and you've got books all over the floor and they're everywhere. Basically what it does is it takes all those books and puts them back in the right order.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
Just reorganizes your brain, you're fresh and you're ready to go. And so when I find that I have a business problem that I can't solve, or I can't do this on my own, I'll actually go meditate on it. And I actually close my eyes and I listen to a guided meditation and I come out and I go, yep, I've got this. Nice. And it's all fixed.
And just allowing your subconscious to help with the solution to that.
Absolutely. I mean, self-care is so important. So many people get burned out, and that's such an important way of doing it, of refreshing that brain.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, I'm very, very big on mindset and personal development and that kind of thing. And yeah, I totally subscribe to stopping, calming, meditating, looking after yourself, investing in yourself. That sort of thing.
Absolutely.
One last question, Lauren, and this one wasn't on any prep sheet anywhere. Lion or elephant? Which one and why?
I would say lion, because I am a kitty cat person.
Nice.
They're all kitty cats, aren't they?
Yes.
And why? I think it's a fast-moving predator.
Nice.
Go get what I'm after, and nothing will stand in my way.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's really good. And finally, Lauren, right, who can you best help? And, is there anything that you can kind of offer them? And if we want to get in touch, how could we, as your potential clients, utilize your services?
Sure. So look, my potential clients are medium to large businesses, not extra large, just medium to large. So generally the people who I work with have somewhere between 50 and 1,000 employees, right? So that kind of size.
Right.
And yeah, it's basically what we do is we just help them through times of change. They maybe don't know what they need to do, how do they need to get there? If they know what they want to do, but don't know how to get there, we'll help them through. That's what we do. So to get in touch, we have a website.
What's that?
It is leading-edge.global.
Nice. Very nice.
So anyway, all the contact details there, and read all about it.
Yeah, fantastic. And anything else you'd like to add, give away, anything like that?
Sure. Well, look, if anyone's interested, we actually do have a change management white paper available now online, which is really, it's all about practical change management. So if you're not ready to hire a change manager, but you know you need to do it, this is a really sort of simple guide that can take you through what it is, why you want to do it, and how it might work for you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. That's really good. Well, Lauren, it's been lovely having you. Thank you. We appreciate the value that you brought today. And yeah, we're looking forward to seeing where things go over the next few years for you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Ryan.
Thank you.